So,
I heard that you like high-heeled shoes.
what was that about? Was that an album? Hello, friends. Welcome to User Friendly, the show that talks about tech news, sometimes gadgets, and our favorite stuff on the web.
Indeed.
My name is Roberto Hoyos, and I am the owner of a company called Throwboy, and I'm here with my friend.
Everyone, Elijah, you might know me from the Cultcast podcast. Welcome, and I'm sorry you have to see my face. Actually,
I'm sorry too.
You can tell that we both have great faces, so it actually just adds to the show, I think.
That's why people watch our video.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the face and the talking.
So, another episode. I think we're on episode 70. Yeah, we are.
Is this episode 70? Woo! Woo-wee!
What were you doing in your 70s?
I don't know, but I know I had a fantastic Speedo on.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm a huge fan of those.
Well, so, how are you?
I'm doing really well.
Yeah.
I had a freaking great weekend. Went to the university fair.
That was over the
going-
weekend.
Yeah, that was...
Not today.
No, I went today.
Okay.
Yeah, actually. I actually just went today.
You know we don't have to phrase this like it's a long time ago, right?
And, small fact about me you may or may not want to imagine in your mind.
Dog smoking a
Sorry.
cigarette.
My dog has like this thing hanging out of her mouth and it looks like she has a cigarette in her mouth. And I'm like, what is that?
Keep going.
I got a freaking like huge like corn dog. Just super phallic, right? I'm just like, but I love corn dogs.
Why do you have to say that it's phallic?
Because it looked like a big wiener. It was like this long. It was about this long.
How old
and it
are
was
you?
covered in batter.
So immature.
It was delicious, and it was hand dipped, you know, because like all the corn dogs you usually get to eat are just like baked.
Sure.
It was like hand dipped in batter and then put in the deep fryer.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to this guy, and I was like, oh man, these are good corn dogs, right? And he's like, thanks. I was like, do you guys have a store somewhere? And he said, no, this is all we do. And I'm like, really? He was like, yeah, all we do is travel around the U.S. and open up like our stand, and then we sell corn dogs.
That's pretty sweet.
That's a freaking sweet job, because if there's two things I love, it's traveling and wiener-shaped corn dogs.
And smelling like a corn dog.
Smelling like a corn dog. I didn't even eat it. I just rubbed it on me. I gave it back to him.
That's what I smell. Okay. Yeah, it's cool. I heard that. Actually, did you watch? You don't watch the Foundation interviews anymore, right?
Are those still going?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
They're just sporadic.
I honestly don't.
There was one about this girl that she was like a scientist, so she developed a way to do what is that called, where you make ice cream with dry ice or something, or like
I don't know.
ice cream with
Gelato?
no. You make ice cream with what is it? What's the thing that freezes like in Terminator 2?
Nitroglycerin?
No, this blows up.
Oh, liquid
Nitrogen. Yeah.
Here, try this ice cream. Smoke comes out of your ears.
But yeah, she said that she has a store now, so he was like at her ice cream shop.
Cool.
But the thing that made me think of that was, I guess it's illegal to have like a little push cart unless you have a permit. So there's like this whole culture in San Francisco where people just do a little push cart of their food, and then they tweet out like, "Hey, we're here."
Before the cops come get them?
Before the cops come, like, come get the rest of our ice cream before the cops come.
So it's illegal to actually have a push cart and push it around?
Well, you have to have a permit, and you probably have to have like health. You
yeah.
know, you have to be so close to like a running water and all this kind of stuff.
They
You know
gotta
what I
make
mean?
sure there's no boogers in your ice cream.
So
Make sure your ice cream doesn't explode.
I don't really know the laws about that, but I love, like, we went to like taco carts and stuff.
Oh, they're usually so good.
Yeah.
I was in Portland recently, and Portland has a huge food truck culture.
I love the pulled pork one in that.
I didn't see it.
There's
probably like 80 of them.
There's kind of like a main lot that most people know about, I think, right?
There might be. I am not super familiar with Portland. The trucks that I saw too were obviously not mobile. Like they were just sitting there parked 24/7. But they were really good, and I really love Seattle's starting to do a lot more of that kind of stuff. In fact, there is a freaking way good taco truck over on 45th.
Yeah, we
But I
went
digress. Oh, that's right. You went there too. That's right. And they have like authentic food, like the tongue sandwich. Are you a fan of that?
I didn't have it.
Ugh. Not a fan. Anyway, got a great show planned for you guys today.
Yes, sir.
I want to tell you guys about this crazy story, and I just want to put this out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you I wanted to tell you about it because it's so insane. I was like, I just have to tell somebody about this. So,
Alright.
if you listen to a recent episode of the Cultcast, Buster was asking me what CEO I would meet if I had the chance.
Oh,
And I
yes.
was like, oh, who's the CEO of eBay? Because I would love to chew him out. So I love eBay.
Mm-hmm.
I love eBay. I've been using eBay for a long time. In fact, I used to make my living on eBay. When I was in college, it was how I supported myself. I would buy like used Nintendo games, like Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, and then I would break apart these big lots of games and I would sell them on eBay. I made good money. And over a period of time, eBay has, bit by bit, just made it really hard to be a seller on eBay. They treat their sellers like crap. Most people don't care because most people are just buyers.
Right.
I recently sold something on eBay because I couldn't sell it on Craigslist, which is what I normally try to do. And I shipped this, it was software. So I shipped the software to this person. And I've been burned before, so I anything over like $50, I usually make them sign for it. Because a lot of people don't know this, but if you don't have them sign for something, especially if it's over like $150 or $200, like they can literally just be like, I didn't get it. And there's nothing you can do if they didn't sign for it. PayPal will be like, well, did you not read our agreement? And they just take the money back.
Good to know.
Tip,
Yeah.
pro tip. If you sell anything over 200, they have to sign for it.
Meaning you would have to send it not by regular mail. You'd have to either or send it by regular mail with a signature needed, or send it by FedEx or UPS.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And I think even with those last two services, you need to specify that you want them to sign
Oh,
for it.
correct. Okay, yeah.
So the guy gets it. Everything seems cool. About 2 months later, no, not even 2 months later, maybe like a month later. Actually, while I was in Portland, I get back and I see an email that says eBay has, or you owe eBay money. And I was like, oh, I thought I had owed them money for selling stuff, right? Because they send you like, you know, an email if you don't pay them. And my credit card had recently expired. So I was like, oh, I must just need to change my credit card information. So I wait until like Monday or Tuesday and they send me another one. I look at it and I was like, oh, wait a second. Like, I don't owe them seller fees. This person had claimed that they didn't get the item, and eBay, totally not to my knowledge, had refunded them their money. And the way it works, and this is the part that everybody should know if you sell on eBay, because I had no idea they did this. If you send something to someone and they have a problem with it, or they just want to get their money back from you, all they have to do is file a dispute with eBay. eBay gives the seller, I think, 2 days to respond. 2 days to respond. And if you don't respond, it goes to them, to eBay, to make a decision. So you have a total of 6 days before if they don't hear from you, they refund the money to your buyer, and then they come after you for it, and you owe them that money.
Jeez.
So they were coming after me, and they're like, you owe us, I think it was like $260. And I was like, for what? They're like, well, we refunded the money to this guy. So I checked the tracking. He received it, and he signed for it. So I don't know what happened, but this person had signed for this package and then did a claim against me saying that they didn't get it. And I showed eBay the information. I'm like, well, here it is right here. You know, like, you signed for it. And they're like, there's nothing we can do. You're too late. And I was like, you gave me 6 days.
Yeah.
Like, when someone goes on vacation, like, how long do they go on vacation for? 7 days.
Yeah.
All the time. Right? So it's like, eBay it's totally at their discretion whether or not they can refund the money that you got or not. And then they can, like, send you to collections. But here's the crazier part. So I talked to the guy who was my buyer.
Yeah.
And he like runs a business, and luckily he's a stand-up guy. And he was like, oh, well, send me an invoice. I didn't realize we'd gotten it, and I'll repay you.
So how did he file a claim if he didn't realize that?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
What?
But I called them. I called this business. I emailed them like 10 times.
Good for you.
I was like, you owe me this money. Like, you need to repay me. So he does repay me. But the moment he repays me, eBay goes in my PayPal account and takes the money.
What?
So not only are they able to make
I didn't know they could
refunds,
do that.
but apparently because they own PayPal,
Yeah, right.
they are able to just go into your account, yoink, thank you, and they just take it. No, I mean, like, permission needed from you, anything. They just do whatever they want.
That's messed up.
It's messed up. And
Yeah.
I started doing research about this, and there's a ton of sellers who are like, this happens to me regularly, and people will do crazy things like buy something from me and then return it with like bricks or like a rock or something in there.
Shut up.
And eBay, if that happens, there is literally nothing you can do because the eBay and PayPal always side with the
Yeah.
buyer because they're like they shipped it back to you
That's horrible.
and there's nothing you can do to prove it, so they just take the money back.
I just feel like there's like no customer service at eBay, and there's like it's like they're a robot, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you're fighting with an algorithm. Like you're fighting with
Pretty much.
like a Python script.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
you're talking to
you know
a
what I
human,
mean?
but the
Like-
human has no power to do anything. He's
Right.
like
That's
my
our
computer
policy.
doesn't let me do anything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's super crazy. And this just goes to the larger discussion of eBay has absolutely no competition. And so they can screw over anyone that they want.
Right.
And there's nothing you can do about it. Like this guy who bought from me, I can't even leave him negative feedback because eBay, about, I would say, 3 or 4 years ago, got rid of negative feedback for buyers. So if I steal something from you as a seller, you can't even leave me negative feedback because you can only leave me positive feedback or neutral feedback.
No way.
Because
really?
eBay doesn't want to make buyers angry because then they don't come back. So I can't even be like, warning, this person will steal from you.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing you can do besides sending them an angry email.
Eesh.
Buyer beware. Dude, we need to start a new eBay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised no new startup has tried to tackle that problem because it has that space to be overthrown. It's like PayPal has that space to be overthrown. The same
Yeah.
that like Square came around, and they're kind of chipping away at people's
Big time.
at PayPal. But
This kind of goes to like a bigger argument though, as like, or not really an argument, but a bigger topic. And this is kind of this is going to be a rough transition.
I wish
Follow me here.
Amazon did it. Actually, Amazon might be able
If
to.
they had like a auction marketplace,
Yeah.
I wish Craigslist did it because
Why?
that's something I would actually use, and I feel like they would treat you fairly.
Why? You don't talk to anyone at Craigslist.
No, but Craigslist at least seems reputable, right? Like they let you use their service for free.
Yeah.
They make money, but like they're not really trying to be.
That's a whole different ballgame for them, though, dude. Because
Yeah,
Craigslist
totally.
has probably like less than 50 employees.
They probably have like 5 employees, and
Yeah.
one of them is probably Craig.
Yeah. They have like barely any employees.
But they're making bank.
And Amazon has a ton of employees. Like
Yeah.
they could actually do it. They have the infrastructure to do it. Anyway, I'm sorry I cut
Yeah,
you off.
Amazon, I actually would be a great option too. But I mean,
They're probably
the
never
problem
gonna
with
do
eBay
that.
is
It's
the
It's a
same.
hassle.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of already have an auction system in place anyway, but well, not an auction system, but like a seller, like eBay type auction place
They don't want to use this.
that no one uses. But it's kind of like that whole Google Plus / Facebook argument. Is that all the people are on Facebook, right? And all the people are on eBay. So it's really hard to pull people away from those two systems. And the reason I bring Google Plus up, we're going to talk about Google Hangouts here later in the show. But I was talking about Google Hangouts on Twitter this last week because Google had all that crazy news, right? And I had a bunch of people. I called Google Plus a social graveyard.
Read the tweets. I want to hear what they said back to you.
There's a lot of them. I don't even know what people said because they were like all over the place. But that made some people mad because they're like, I use Google Plus. Google Plus is great. And I'm like, I'm not saying that Google Plus isn't great. It might be really awesome. I don't really know because I don't use it all that much. But the problem is that everybody uses Facebook. And why would they switch? And it's the same problem with eBay. It's like, I'm sure there's been a lot of people who've created eBay marketplaces, but the reason that no one shops there is because there's no one there.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to pull people away from like the systems that they're already using. That's why being a first mover is so awesome. Let me see here.
Yeah, I want to know what they said to you. Seriously? Wait, who said seriously?
Oh, they were talking about Oingo Boingo.
Okay.
This was actually a few days ago. Okay. Let's see. Well, this is one from Phil Ewing. He said you guys had it right. The new G Plus stuff is neat, but it's like getting a new football and there are no kids to play with. It's like, yeah, it's true. Let's see here. Oh, Chris Perla uses Google Plus, huh?
Oh, big time, yeah.
Let's see here. Michael Van Dorst says, Machiel Van Dorst, excuse me. I wish your Google account was enough. You didn't need to integrate Google Plus. He's talking about Google Hangouts in the app. When I was using the Google Hangouts app, it looked like you could only draw from people who use Google Plus.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that
But
later.
no, what are negative things? These are none of these are negative so far.
There was a couple guys I thought that were saying that.
Irfan, you need to go die. Who said that?
Looks like this is at Roberto Hoyos. I don't know. I can't find it. Flipping Creative Suite. I had like 80 threads going on.
I like the one about. I like the one that was like, "Hey, Irfan, how about next time on your Apple show you talk about Apple, not Google the entire show?"
Well, you know what? It's all relevant to Apple. I mean, that's the thing. It's like we're talking about the Google Hangouts app. You know, it's like Google Maps is coming to iPad. It's going to be totally renovated, you know?
User friendly is watched on Macintoshes, therefore it is a Mac show.
Not the same thing. Let's see here. Yeah, I can't.
We
find
use Final Cut Pro to edit our show.
Yeah,
so
we should talk about video more
a
often.
Mac show.
Dude, we're talking about Google Hangouts. It's an app. I mean, it's a freaking app on your iPhone. What else do you want? When we talk about apps.
Okay. I'll leave you alone.
I can't find them. Sorry, I wish I could. They're buried in here somewhere.
That's okay. Let's go to topic number 2.
Yeah, so sorry about my eBay rant there, but
it's good to know. Good tips.
Dude, it is good tips.
It seems kind of like, you know, intriguing sometimes to go try to hawk some stuff on eBay, but it has a lot more headaches than it's worth, in my opinion.
Especially if you sell expensive stuff, you can get seriously hosed.
Scrooged.
Yeah, there's another story that I'm reminded of, where this guy sold another guy a violin.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
And he said like, this is an authentic, like some brand new violin.
Stradivarius.
Stradivarius. And the guy who got it was convinced that it wasn't real. So he filed a complaint with PayPal, and PayPal ordered him to destroy it. So he had to freaking destroy it to get his refund, and he did. And then this seller was like, "What the hell? Like, that was real.
Yeah.
You destroyed my violin." And PayPal, of course, was like, "Screw you. We're not giving you your money back."
Let's move on.
They've got too much power.
I don't want to get mad.
Okay, so last week, if you caught our episode last week, we announced our Netflix review movie was going to be Side by Side, a documentary talking about the transition of using film and moving to digital in the filmmaking world.
Yes.
And so we watched that. Hopefully you did too. That's why we tell you about it a week early, so that you guys can watch it with us.
Or pause right now and then you'll...
Yeah, it's on Netflix Instant at this very moment, at this very instant.
And it was made like this year, so it's a new movie.
Was it?
Yeah. I mean, come on. Looks
Last
like,
couple years at
brand new,
least.
right?
Yeah, I mean, Keanu Reeves is still looking pretty sexy.
I love how he has different hair the whole time.
Yeah, and his beard's like, boop, big beard, short beard, wide beard, short beard. It's like, I was like, did you start this movie with no beard? And by the end, you had long hair and a beard.
Yeah.
So you can tell like what order he talked to people in.
It's just hair and makeup. It's no big deal.
This documentary, as I mentioned, is about the transition from film to digital,
making big budget movies with those two things.
Yeah, making and indie movies too with those things, and
basically
it's kind of cool. It talks about the entire process from recording it, I guess. I was gonna say filming it, to editing it, to screening it, to distributing it. It's everything. And am I missing anything as far as describing it?
It does a great job of actually telling you, kind of in layman's terms, how things are filmed, how digital is filmed as compared to analog, which I thought was really good too, because it could have just been like an opinion piece about every director, because they interview all these big directors like George Lucas and Jim Cameron and a lot of people like that, Francis Ford Coppola, and it could have just been their opinion, but it's like it takes you into it. It's like, well, why do people have these opinions? You know, because why are these technologies so skewed, and why do some people like them and some people don't? So I thought that was good that they actually show like this is how a camera works and this is how it captures it. You know, so anyway.
You know what the thing about it I liked the most, that immediately comes to mind, I should say, is how likable Danny Boyle is.
Who's that again?
He was the director of, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of this movie. It's the Indian movie where they are in the slums. Slumdog Millionaire. Thank you. And he's a British guy, and he's just really nice and funny, and he's like having a great time. And then all the other documentary guys were all just like sitting there, like totally straight faced, not smiling at all.
David Lynch was pretty nice.
Was he?
Too. Yeah.
I don't remember. I know James Cameron was just like totally straight faced.
Yeah,
and, like
yeah.
a lot of those guys were just like, "What are you doing in my trailer?"
And
here.
Keanu Reeves actually he was likable too in this. I thought he was
Yeah.
I mean, he had some pretty good questions of that because he's on camera too in some of this movie.
A lot of it, yeah.
And his questions actually were good because you could see like I don't know, they just like let them kind of express what they really thought, and then I don't know, he didn't really have one side or another, but I don't know, he kind of just injected his own personality into it a little bit, and
yes, he does have a personality.
yeah, that's the thing. Like seriously, when I went into watching this, I was like, this is gonna be so dumb.
Really?
Well, because I was like, it's Keanu Reeves.
See, I think he gets a bad rap, dude. I don't think he's that bad.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if I would think that he would be, somebody you would think of to watch a movie like this.
Yeah, this would be more like I would love to see Tom Hanks do this.
I don't know. It's just like I'm not at that level of saying that he would be like an Ashton Kutcher doing this kind of movie. But
if you had brought this to me and you're like, "Hey, Ashton Kutcher's doing it," I would have been like, "No."
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hold your
it's
hand.
because you hate him, but
I love him so much, I could hardly stand to see him on screen.
You see what I'm saying? It's just like kind of an actor that's not known for any sort of tech thing, right? So,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
gonna do this whole movie about it. So instantly, I was like, "Come on, like, whatever." But it was really good, I thought. But what did you think of it?
I really liked it. A couple immediate thoughts. It's a good documentary. Because there's topics that are interesting, and then there's documentaries that are just plain well made. So I think it's really well made. Keanu did a great job at talking to a lot of different people from really popular movies that you would definitely recognize.
Yeah.
Like the cinematographers from The Matrix. He talks to a lot of cinematographers too, and not just directors, which I thought was interesting because honestly, before this documentary, I didn't even really know what a cinematographer did.
Same here. And he breaks that down too because there's a lot of terms you hear a lot, like cinematographer, and he's like, that's also called the director of photography, which is also called the DP. And it's like we've heard all those terms before,
right? And
putting it into like, oh, okay, and yeah, prior to this movie, I didn't really understand what that meant either. But what they said is basically like during a filming of a movie, the director is kind of directing, the actors and trying to kind of set up the scene, but he doesn't know what it's going to look like because, the lighting and all that kind of stuff. He doesn't actually know what's going to end up on film. And the DP or the cinematographer is the one that actually is like, I have it in my head.
Or at least thinks he does.
Right. I'm the one that's like, don't worry about it. I know that it's going to look good. Right.
Right.
And they talked about that, which was really interesting, I thought. So, of course, this is pre-digital where you can see it now. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
No,
cut you
that's
off.
fine. So, and the second part that I was thinking was it's really cool to see this now because I feel like this documentary really needed to be made. Because we are at this huge shift. I mean, our entire world in so many different areas is becoming digital in so many different ways. And as somebody who's been a photographer for long enough that I actually started with film, but I hated film immediately. In fact, if photography had never gone digital, I probably never would have been a photographer because I didn't like it. I didn't like the process of you take a picture, 2 days later you see the results, and then you have to have a way to like store your negatives and all that. There was no sexiness there for me. Like I was like, this seems archaic. It was very convoluted. It was hard to learn what you were doing. And the thing that I liked about digital was the fact that you take a picture, you look at it on the screen, it looks good or it doesn't, and then you can tinker with it. And for me, it was a much more visual process because I was like, take the picture, look at it on the screen, and then I would adjust and I could see what different settings did. And now it seems that that process is happening in the cinema world. And it's interesting to see how they're dealing with it because it's one thing to do a picture, right? But they're talking about how the way things used to be done, and still kind of are if you're not digital, is you have a reel of tape that's 1,000 feet long. You strap it to the top of your camera, and that reel lasts.
Film, not tape.
I'm sorry, tape.
Film.
Film.
Please use the right terms.
Sorry, I got grammar cop over here.
Well, it's totally different. Come on. So you put the microchip into your digital camera. Oh, you mean card?
Okay. So you put the film tape on top of your camera. You bolt it on, right? And you've got only 10 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, and I guess they just let the thing roll. I mean, they don't stop it, right? I mean, once they hit go, it seems to me that it just goes and it just keeps going until it's used up.
I don't know about that because they do have like the term speeding, and speeding is like when it's actually rolling, or we're rolling, you know. So they probably stop it when they don't need it to.
Oh, maybe they do.
You know?
So it was incredibly expensive, and then of course there's the whole, now you have to edit all this. I mean 10 minutes, 1,000 feet for 10 minutes of footage. Think of how many different reels of film they had to have.
Yeah.
Just to make one movie. Probably, 100,000, 200, 300,000 feet of film, and then you have to develop all of that onto what you were saying earlier about how they would have to expose it, and they would come back the next day. So the cinematographer was the only one that had an idea of what this is going to look like, right? And it was a very, it was almost kind of like having like a pastor or something there. It's like, that's a very faithful, like relationship you have with this person, right? Because the director, I guess, would be more responsible for like directing the performances and then describing the shots he wanted to have. But then the cinematographer was the one who was like, I think I know what I'm going to do with this. And then he's the only one, or she's the only one, that knows what's going to happen until the next day where they do a daily screening and everyone sees the previous day's footage.
Yeah, and one of the directors, Robert Rodriguez, was like, he's like, it's like painting with the lights off.
Yeah.
Because there's...
Was he the guy who was like, I don't like film? Was that the same guy?
He's one of them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and his other argument, too, was kind of like what you were saying with the film. He's like, it would just be like rolling and you can just hear the money going, you know, because there's like this whir of the actual film of the camera, and he was an indie filmmaker, so you know everything counts. But if he he said he would get to the end of a day of shooting and be like, man, did we even get anything? Like, I have no idea if we got anything good.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Or like, what did we work on today, right?
Yeah,
like. Because you couldn't see it as you were doing it, so you're like, I don't even know if we finished like what we were planning on working on.
So the dailies, you often hear this term if you listen to like director's commentary. The dailies is what you were talking about, where they actually take the film, just like camera film, develop it, and then they get to see the screening of the raw footage, and then they get to make edits, or not edits, but notes basically. And that's what they would do every day after shooting. So every morning you would hear about them going, directors and the film crew going to the dailies, and that's what they call that. So I didn't actually know what that was. I would always like hear that term, but I didn't understand that once that film was captured, you actually have to develop it with chemicals. You know, I didn't even think about that because we come from a time where you can just pop something in. You know,
right? You
actually have to develop it. It's very old fashioned, but. Yeah, so were there any other things that you were going to make?
Actually, I should probably let you talk for a moment. What did you think of it?
I thought it was really interesting. I've seen other movies. I think I just saw another movie that was sort of like this, but I like this one a lot more. I thought it was really impressive that they got a lot of really big names to talk about.
I think the biggest names.
Yeah. George Lucas was in there several times. Right, and that he was at the forefront of even digital at the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
Because what's interesting, and some people don't know this, but a lot of this technology, especially like digital capturing, or digital transfer from film to into a computer was all invented under George Lucas's umbrella with Pixar, because Pixar was a division that he created, basically.
And they created that to digitize the film, right?
Right, because what they were finding out was, so back when Star Wars, the first Star Wars was made, for things like all of the effects that we see, like let's say the lightsaber battles, there would be people that would have to go in there and actually physically draw on every single piece of film the lightsabers and stuff. 'Cause otherwise, it would just be like the handles. So they have to
Really?
go through like every film frame to be able to.
Wow.
You're basically like an old-fashioned animator and drawing that. And then when they have to actually do like, let's say, a big war scene where there's ships flying everywhere, and this is done with taping. They would film models doing one thing. They would film people in the foreground doing something else, and then they would have to combine all those films. And so that created grain. So like if you're combining all that film together, that's going to create grain. So what they figured out was if you digitally copy it and then you stack all those again in the computer, you won't get any grain. So that was like a revelation, like to move to doing it this way. But then he was one of the other people that was pushing, why don't we actually film it digitally instead of just do this transfer, which is a big cumbersome process. So that's another thing that I liked about it. They talked about that. So
That was actually really interesting. Can I just add something right
Sure,
there?
sure.
I had never. George Lucas, he gets a bad rap. He really
yeah,
does.
he does, yeah.
But I mean, when you hear the guy talk, he was such an amazing innovator and he pushed in so many different areas and created all these different technologies and then businesses that survived on these technologies. And he really was just an innovative, amazing. I don't even know what the word for it is, because he wasn't just a director. He
Yeah.
wasn't just a story writer. I mean, he was involved in every single process, and where technologies didn't exist.
yeah.
I mean, he would have the foresight to be like, we need to do X, Y, Z. These technologies don't exist, and we need to figure them out.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he would go and do those things. I mean, think of how many amazing businesses he created just off creating Star Wars. I mean, Industrial Light and Magic, right? Skywalker Sound, Pixar, and then of course there's Lucasfilm. But it's like all this crazy, amazing film creation technology that was all thanks to him is really astounding. And then he talked about how the Phantom Menace was all digital,
Yeah, right.
which was the first movie that was ever made all digitally.
Right.
And some people really hated it and thought that it didn't look good. And I'm like, I thought it looked pretty good.
I thought it would look good too. I mean, maybe there's no way to know now because it's probably hard to find an original digital copy of
Yeah.
it. But digital back then, they even talk a lot about, they talk about digital. They talk about which was what 480 back then, 480p back then.
Probably.
And then they go up to talking about what high definition was, and then they go up to talking about 4K. So it's really current. Like all these kind of terminologies we hear about, in cameras and stuff that we have, in our iPhone and stuff. It's like all in that movie, which is really cool. It's not dated in any way, so watch it now, but it's not dated right now. And yeah, they talk also just about like consumption. Like, do people like to watch? Things have changed so much. It used to be you go to a theater and the lights turn down. It's like this experience. And nowadays people watch a whole movie on their phone.
Did you find that to be true?
What do you mean?
That part that they were just talking about. They're like, oh, people don't even go. Like that one girl was like, people don't even go on dates to the theater anymore. Now they just
They watch
Netflix in their house. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
I don't think so. I think that that's kind of an extreme point of view, but because I know, I mean, I go to movies pretty regularly, and I always see a variety of age groups.
Me
there.
too, yeah.
It's not like, oh, I'm such an old fogey for going to the movies. I go to the moving pictures.
oh, yeah, right. I think watching something in a theater is so much different than watching it at home.
Oh yeah.
Especially just for the fact that you're in a room full of people
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
don't know changes the entire dynamic of the.
How often are you like, dang, I missed that in the theater? right? And
Yeah.
you're like, man, I would have been so much cooler if I would
Yeah,
have
if
saw
I
it
would saw it in the theater, for
like,
sure.
across the street from where I live, they're playing Jurassic Park in 3D, and even though I've seen that movie a zillion times, I kind of want to see it.
Yeah,
because it's
that would be
on
cool.
on the big screen.
I don't think I saw that
and
in
it's in
theater.
3D. But what else is in there that you liked?
The thing about it that really kind of blew my mind was how the entire process of making a movie is changing. And what that means for Hollywood, what that means for movie theaters, and how it's really scary for a lot of people because there's all these jobs that are out there that revolve around the creation and production and editing and distribution of film. For example, you know, a lot of movie theaters, at least 10, 20 years ago, they would get like these big things of film and all those things had to be created. And think how much time and effort just went into editing and distributing and shipping those to a theater. Now, I don't know if this is how they work actually now, but I would imagine it will be eventually, is this entire thing is shot digitally. It's edited digitally. The effects are created digitally instead of like bathing in a chemical bath for a certain amount of time, right? They can color certain parts of the movie, which had never been done before, right?
I didn't understand that at all. I didn't know that at all, I should say.
I didn't either.
They were talking about, they spent a good amount of time about color correction.
Yeah.
And they said that, you know, nowadays we all have seen this a zillion times. Like, there's a color wheel. You pick the things that you want to brighten up. You want
Right.
to make the leaves greener. You can do that.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen it in Final Cut and whatever. But back then, they would have to do it in chemicals. Like, they would have to...
And they'd have to color the entire frame.
Yeah.
So they had to choose, like, do I want the sky to be blue and the water to be blue, or do I want, like, you know, the trees to be green? And,
Yeah.
like, how are we going to do this, you know?
And they said that a lot of those techniques were pushed because of the innovative stuff they were doing in music videos at the time. And I thought that was really interesting, like music videos, because they're basically like short film, you know,
Yeah.
short art films, I should say. And so they were pushing what Hollywood found
Too risky, I think.
yeah, or they like now found useful, I guess. But I thought it was interesting too, like everyone's just kind of pushing each other, you know, like, oh, somebody did that, oh, maybe we can do that, and then we'll do this, you know, and then it opens doors for this and that. And then the other part about how people were experimenting with the early digital cameras and making full-length movies with like consumer grade cameras, right?
Yeah.
And that had never been done. And then people kind of like, some people thought it looked, you know, didn't like it because obviously it looked like consumer grade.
It looked like bad porno.
But the thing about it though is that it pushed to make like actual. Sony was not making, or any of these big companies were not even attempting to make a Hollywood, you know, film or digital camera, right? They were just like, oh, this is consumer technology, right? So think about how, I mean,
Until George Lucas pushed Sony to do it,
right?
right?
I mean, really, like think
Yeah.
about how long that could have occurred for, right?
Yeah.
But so,
Very easily we could still be there.
yeah, we could easily still be there and think that film is like this, you know, holy grail, but you can never do that at home, you know. And they even talked about DSLR, and I thought it was interesting because some older people were so against it. They're like, that's so stupid. You know why that was invented? It was invented for, what do you call it? Photojournalists and people making movies on it.
Yeah, he's talking about using like a 5D
Yeah.
or like a 7D, like a Canon, to like make movies on your DSLR.
And then, yeah, he was just like, no, that doesn't belong. And it's funny because people get set in their ways, you know, and they think that there's only one right way to do things. And it's like, dude, this was all just invented by people. Like, there could be a
That's
million.
really kind
you
of
know,
the magic of George Lucas and also the magic of Steve Jobs is they were able to look at something and be like, this is not how this should be done anymore. And even though we've been doing this for however many years, they can detach themselves from it and be like, we need to move this way.
It's like the Steve Jobs quote. Do you know that quote where he's like, once I thought about how everything in this entire world was just made by people like you and I, that kind of frees you to be able to think that you can actually change the world.
Because they're no different than you.
Because, yeah, exactly. And I think that's a really good thing to know, especially in this movie. This movie shows that over and over and over again, you know?
It does. One of the other things that I thought was really fascinating was the very last part of the movie. They talk about film distribution, and as I mentioned earlier, they would ship these huge reels of film to all these different theaters, and I'm just like, how much manpower and gasoline and wear and tear on trucks and all this stuff that happens just to transport these. And now, if everything was digital, you edit the movie, and then when a movie's ready. I mean, I don't know if this is what they do, but they could. You just upload it directly to the projector, right? Like the projector could have a license, on it, and you would just upload it directly to that projector, and there would be zero degradation of the film for making all those different copies, and you would just have the movie there and play it, and you would be done. It would save Hollywood so much time and money, which is another one of the reasons why they said that studios are starting to move in that direction and filmmakers are starting to move in that direction.
My brother makes independent films, and I think we're still pretty far away from it, because even his stories he tells me about submitting films to film festivals, it involves a lot of old-fashioned crap, like, oh, we have to burn a DVD and mail it to them. And it's so stupid. And he's like, yeah, I try to push them to things like Dropbox or Without a Box, and sometimes they're just flat out, well, no, we don't do that, It's because, like, they don't want to learn any new ways to do things,
Yeah.
A theater would have to get outfitted with a brand new, not only digital projector, but with something that would allow them to connect to the internet,
Yeah.
So
it's easy to think that people would be like, well, of course I'm going to use that technology.
But
that's
there's a lot of upfront
easier.
costs, man.
And there's a lot of people who just don't want to deal with technology, especially in the art world. They just don't want to deal with it, know? And I mean, even 10 years ago, I think I mentioned this, it might have even been in the last episode, I had friends who didn't use computers. They just didn't really feel a need to use computers.
That's why
I'm going to go not using a computer. It's a freaking computer, dude.
That's why there's always kind of room to disrupt these different markets and stuff like that. Like, I mean, one example that just came to mind this afternoon actually was, there's always there's crafty people and there's artists that like to make things, and then their friends would always be like, oh, you should sell those, you can make money doing that, and it wasn't until Etsy came around that it was like the first time that it kind of brought down the barrier to be able to put things online in an easy way, in an unintimidating way. And now there's tons of people that sell on Etsy, and they make little craft things and they throw them on Etsy. And prior to that, you would find them at flea markets and maybe at conventions, but they couldn't do that much with what they're doing, right? So I don't know, there's things like that there's these different things that could definitely get disrupted. And I mean, that film distribution could be a huge one. I don't really understand how that's done either. If they do it over the internet, I've never heard of that. Remember the South Park documentary? The guy had to drive with the tape and give it to the studio. Remember?
Well, that was a distribution hub, right? And they would project it via satellite to all these different other places.
But still, why wouldn't he be able to just send that to them over wire or over the internet?
Yeah, or email it.
Yeah,
right? It's hey,
I mean,
here's my Dropbox link.
Well, really, I mean,
yeah. Because how big could an episode be possibly? Maybe 10 gigs.
Yeah.
It's a 20-minute episode, right?
Yeah.
So it's got to be freaking small.
So yeah, he just he had to drive. He had to burn fossil fuels.
Let's drive it over there. Anyway, do you have anything you want to add?
No, but check it out. I think that this crowd would probably dig it.
Yeah, you probably will. And I just want to say, what an incredible time we live in, that we're making this really amazing transition. I mean, there are a lot of problems that occur when you're using digital equipment. And one of the big problems with digital is that in a lot of ways, the fidelity of it doesn't match film, although I think in some ways it's actually beaten film now. But that you can go to a movie where 70% of the stuff in the movie doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Like in Avatar, he's like, we only shot 30% of that movie.
Yeah.
The rest of it was all CG. He's like, think about the fact, this was James Cameron, think about the fact that you're in a forest filled with these creatures, and we never even saw a forest for that film. It was all created digitally, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, Avatar was done well in that regard. Some films don't do it well, but
a lot of films don't do it well. I saw the original Star Trek in 3D. Or I'm sorry, not the original, but the new one, Into Darkness. Recently.
I haven't seen it yet.
It was good, but you're watching it in 3D, and And I'm like, and a lot of that movie is obviously digital too.
Is
right?
it shot in 3D?
I believe it was shot in 3D.
Okay.
Yeah. And
3D is another stupid.
it's like you're sitting there and you're like, is this really necessary? And when we left, Aaron, who I saw it with, said it, the very first thing. He was like, I liked it, but I wish it wasn't in 3D. And I'm like, that's exactly how I felt. Because everything's just kind of blurry. And you're like, why is this in 3D? Because the studio can charge $18 for tickets.
The one other thing I don't like is I wear glasses, and I have to wear glasses over
Him
my
too.
glasses.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Well, which glasses do you wear under and then over? Do you wear them over those?
Yeah.
Do they have like special glasses to go over your glasses, like to get the big square ones?
Oh no.
Oh, they're just like the basic ones.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I wear Google glasses.
That would be. Well, then the hologram would be right in front of your face.
Yeah.
Because those things are that advanced. All right, let's move on.
All right.
Let's wrap up with some.
We're gonna hang out with
Google-
you guys.
We're gonna hang out on Google.
So Erfan suggested, because there's a brand new Google Hangout app, we both wanted to play with it and hang out with some of the viewers right now.
Yeah, I don't even know how we're gonna do this, so we're gonna try.
So
Let's see here.
why are you gonna do it on the phone and not on your computer?
Well, because the Hangouts app is on my phone. I thought we were
Oh,
gonna try
right.
and use that.
Gotcha.
So what we're gonna try to attempt here, and this may or may not work,
I don't know if it's gonna work now that I think about
is to try and hang out with some people on Twitter
Yeah.
via the Google Hangouts app, which just got released this last week.
So
Let me first explain. So Hangouts, which used to just be a video chat function of Google Plus, is now a app that lives on your iPhone. So you can chat with your friends via text, or not text. You can word chat, like
Yeah,
actual chat,
yeah,
and not be like Google Hangouting with your
yeah,
friends.
you can do like a message.
But they
message chat.
transformed Hangouts into a unified messaging system. So all your like conversations with people are organized by threads. So based upon conversations that you're having on certain topics, and then it keeps all your conversation in one thread that you can organize. And I video chatted with Buster, my my friend and cult cast compatriot.
Buster Keaton.
Buster Keaton is his actual name. And it actually worked really well. The Google Hangouts thing was really cool. We didn't get to hang out with multiple people because the big problem with Hangouts, this is my biggest complaint, is that nobody uses Google+. Nobody uses it.
Yeah, I mean not nobody, but yeah.
Hardly anyone uses it. Hardly anyone I know uses Google+, except for people who are in tech.
That's the right sentence.
Okay, so do you know anyone that uses it?
Well, I bop into it once in a while. I have it on my phone,
Uh-huh.
and I use it primarily to post Throwboy stuff. Mm-hmm. But whenever I'm in there, Chris Prillo is always in there.
Okay, but he's a journalist. He's a tech journalist.
And Scoble.
Yeah, Leo Laporte's on it, I'm sure.
I follow the guy from Ugly Doll. He's very active on there, the creator of Ugly Doll. But no, I don't have any friends. Like I'm not gonna bop into there and see like what my friends are up to.
Okay, so this is my point, right? So tech people, yes, they use Google Plus, maybe.
Yeah.
But guys like us, you and I are pretty techie. We don't even use Google Plus.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And our parents don't use Google Plus. It's
No.
like, so it makes the app and the Hangout system and the messaging service eminently less useful, because if it's pulling from Google Plus and no one I actually know in real life uses Google Plus,
You have 0 names in there.
it's like Facebook
Yeah.
Messenger, right? It's
Yeah.
like if you couldn't use that, if you could use that to chat with friends who had just phones, that would be useful. But if you didn't, actually, it's the same exact thing. If Facebook Messenger wasn't tied to Facebook and you weren't using it to chat with people who are using Facebook, it would be totally useless.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so I actually am an active user of Google Hangouts, and the reason why is I find it much better than Skype, or than FaceTime, or than any other crap that's out there, and I've used them all, and I do like from time to time, maybe like a couple times a week, or not a couple times a week, a couple times a month, I'll talk to my friend on Google Plus. Google Hangouts, I should say, and we just chat. Like, he lives in California. That's how we communicate now. I find the experience to do that is really good. I find it to be really, really good. So I want to check out the Hangout standalone app, but this is my first time playing with it. Is he gonna answer?
I'm just trying to get my friend Aaron on here. Actually, yeah, scratch the pulling people in from Twitter, because I don't think that
You're upside down.
You're upside down, dude.
Oh, that failed.
You need to get a new router. He's upside down.
Maybe you need to tilt yours. No,
No, he's
upside
still upside down. So we're chatting with our friend here. Aaron, can you hear me? No. I love that you're upside down there. We're recording user friendly, dude.
You can't even hear him?
Roberto's here.
Are you muted? Like, is it muted?
I think you might be muted, Aaron.
Like your mute toggle.
No.
Oh. He signed off.
Experiment failed.
Dude, okay, so the other problem I have with it is to initiate one, and this is with a friend who is on Google Plus. And I don't know if this is probably different now with the Hangout app, but whenever I wanted to initiate a Google Hangout with him, I'd have to text him and say, "Hey, can you get on Google Plus? I want to hang out. You know, like let's hang out." And it would never be like he gets sent a push notification. There wouldn't even be a badge on the thing that said like, "Hey, somebody's like trying to notify you." There would be no way for me to know unless I went into it and then like refreshed, and then it would say so and so just started to hang out. There's no way to like actually get any feedback. Plus, that's probably changed now with the Google Plus app. I'm probably gonna regret, or I'm gonna know that is different now. But
What's up?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, we got it working.
why is it so bad?
You're on user friendly, dude. You're about to be famous. We can just post you right here.
Yeah.
I don't think they can see your face though.
Why is it so choppy?
I don't know. Why is it so choppy, Aaron? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No. Roberto's here.
Hey, what's up?
This is probably the closest you can get to his face without making him feel uncomfortable. I'll bring you in for the real thing though. Here.
Whoa, that is one sexy face.
So okay, try to add me to this.
Well, you're here, so we're gonna try and add Roberto to this situation here.
You're here. Yeah, pretend I'm not.
Let me see here. No. The app is actually, the UI for it is actually pretty good. I was saying that I really do like it. I just wish that I knew more people. So you can add a name or an email or a number or a circle. So Roberto. Should we call Robert Scoble? We should try it and see what happens.
What the hell?
Okay,
Why is it
Aaron
not-
added you. Aaron added you.
Oh, okay, cool. So now it's showing up on my phone. Here.
So it's actually coming up then, huh?
Yeah.
So that was a big part of what was missing.
Okay, but no, I was in it, man. But now we're gonna get a feedback loop.
Okay, Roberto's in it now too.
See, feedback. Turn yours down. Turn yours down. Turn yours down. Okay,
Let's just use your audio.
that's not bad. Here, look. This is what it looks like, everybody. Hold on.
Cool. So this is actually kind of cool. I can feel my iPhone heating up, dude, like crazy.
So the bottom of the screen actually has the little avatars or the little people talking.
Do you have your volume turned up?
Why is your camera not focusing?
I don't know.
This is okay. The only thing is I almost never do it with I never Google Hangout with like tons of people, you know? Like I'll
Yeah.
do it with like one. I use it kind of like how I use Skype or something.
Aaron added and in the call too.
Oh, really?
So it's actually working. Granted, I have fantastic internet. So, I mean, it probably depends on your internet connection. But, I mean, what other app can you multi-chat in with your faces, right? I don't know of any.
I don't know of any other ones. No.
Hey, Ann.
Oh, cool.
Dude, the feedback loop is about to get crazy in this mofo.
So that's kind of cool. I wonder how many people you can add at one chat now.
I don't know. So, Ann, did you get a notification when we sent you the invite?
No, Aaron just.
She tapped me on the shoulder.
Yeah, I got an invite from Aaron. He went like this.
Yeah.
Aaron, did your phone tell you that we were trying to call you?
Yes, it did.
Oh, good. That was a yes, it did.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna hang up and I'm gonna
Okay.
get completely out of it.
Okay.
And then I want to see what happens if you add me again. So add me again.
Okay.
This is what actually hold on. I'll do one better. I'm gonna.
We're just hanging out. Did you guys have a good weekend?
Okay. Aaron added me quicker.
Okay. We're recording user friendly right now. I'm sure everyone who's watching is just thrilled.
Yeah.
Why are you not coming up, dude?
Tell Aaron to add me.
Aaron, can you add Roberto?
Must not be friends with me on here.
That shows how often I use it.
I know, and that's the thing. You can't say no one's on, and if you never freaking go into it.
Dude, neither do you.
I just told you I did.
You go in there to see Chris Perillo say things.
Sometimes I do. No one uses Instagram. Oh, because you don't have it installed? Yeah.
Hey, Aaron, do you know anyone that uses Google Plus?
He's gonna say yes.
He said no. They laughed. Roberto keeps trying to slap my hand because I say that it's a social graveyard. He's like, people use it, but the only people he can tell me that actually use it are internet famous people like Robert Scoble and freaking Chris Perillo and Leo Laporte. He's like, see, they use it.
No, I think.
Do any normal people? I honestly cannot think of one.
No, I actually think that there are techie people that do. Oh, cool. Okay, so I got a push notification,
Oh, awesome.
and then 2 people want you to hang out,
There's 3 people that want you to hang out.
and there we go. Okay, cool.
Booyah!
Well, I think that's enough. We should probably hang.
We
up
should
on-
probably show everyone Aaron's face since we talk about him so much.
All right. I thought
Let's show everyone those pearly, pixelated whites. Hey, Aaron. Say something. Oh, there's a hand. There's Aaron. Now you can kind of see him. Say something funny, Aaron.
something funny.
Something funny.
It sounded like an android. It was like, something funny, Aaron. All right, guys. We got to wrap up this podcast, so we got to go. Thanks for joining us, though.
Bye.
See ya.
Okay. So cool. Do you think you're gonna use it?
I definitely want to play around with it more. This was really awesome. This functionality is really great. And I mean, obviously what we were using it for is an ideal. Like, we're both on the same network. They were both on the same network in the same room.
Right.
But when I tested it out with Buster the other day, it worked really well.
That was actually like really smooth, the video.
Yeah.
When we had 4 people at the same time.
Yeah.
I think that maybe their connection might be a little slower than yours.
I think their connection is kind of slow. Yeah.
But like I said, I use Google Hangouts pretty often to talk to my friend in California. That's kind of like our little go-to meeting. Like, that's how we meet. That's how we talk. That's how he shows me his screen, and that's like what we use. I think it's really good for that. I think for my money, and I don't pay any for this, but I think,
for my money that I don't pay.
I think it's the best video chat product out there.
I do too. It's better than FaceTime, and it's what FaceTime should have been. But the problem is, I mean, it doesn't have the user base to make it super useful.
Yeah, but I think if you strip out the fact that it's a social network and you just think of it as Skype, and you can tell your mom, sign up to go on Google Hangout, download Google Hangouts if she wasn't already using FaceTime, or so-and-so, download Google Hangouts. It's the same thing that you had to do back in the day when you said, hey, get Skype. It's this app. You have to download it, and then we can see each other and we can talk, right?
Yeah.
If you think of it in that
I couldn't even
regard,
get my mom to use Skype. I had to just freaking do the
that might be
FaceTime
an
with her.
extreme, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
if you can think of it in that regard, then that's cool. The only thing is that now we're in a day where Facebook owns Skype. Skype is heavily integrated into Facebook, so it's a really easy thing to...
You mean Microsoft owns Skype?
Yeah, but okay, and Facebook integrated Skype.
Right.
So it's easy to just piggyback. You have your social graph. You should be able to video chat with them, right? And that's why you're saying, like, it's lame that Facebook doesn't have a good social graph, but they have a good video product. Who cares, right?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook Messenger isn't perfect, but it's nice that I know that when I text message people, like even my mom, dude, I can message my mom through Facebook, and I know she's gonna actually see it. Like I texted you via Google or via the Hangouts app, and you just saw the message. I did that on Thursday. I sent you that message.
Yeah, but I didn't have the app.
No, but you didn't have the app. But if you logged on to Google Plus, I wonder if it would have shown up there.
I don't think so, because I've been looking at it.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
So that's the other piece that's missing, right? It's like with Facebook, if you message me through Facebook Messenger, it's a complete circle. It's like it would immediately pop up, and I'd be like, oh, Roberto's trying to message me, and I can message you through my computer, and it would show up on your phone, and vice versa. So with Hangouts, it's like there's the other piece that's kind of wonky. It's like, well, I messaged you and you're on Google Plus, but you didn't see the message because you didn't go to your phone. Mm-hmm. And there's no reason for you to go to your phone unless your phone told you that you needed to go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's no reason for me to go to that app because my friends aren't talking on there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's a social graveyard.
Yeah.
We've come full circle. I'm about to go cross.
Well, because I was hearing your argument about whenever I send somebody a message on Facebook, they see it, and it's like, yeah, well, people see it because they go into it, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Even because if you're gonna take it to the extreme of people that barely use it will see it, it's like, yeah, they'll see it, but they have to go into it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
It's like.
But there's a reason to go into it.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're using on a browser, there's no way for you to know if you have new messages unless you go to Facebook.com.
Yes, that's true.
Right.
That's true. Yeah, I think it used to email you, but I'm glad it doesn't do that anymore.
Email you.
Send you an email
So
at Facebook. It would.
poked you.
There's probably a freaking email that goes to like Roberto at Facebook.com. Remember they were pushing that?
Yeah, God.
And then it integrated all those Facebook email addresses into your Apple Contacts book.
I need to do a big deep cleaning of my friend list.
Me too, man.
I have a lot of people on there. I want to put it down to friends and family, but not every acquaintance I've ever met on the internet. You know?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, because I'm like, I get pretty racist in my Facebook account, and I don't want people I don't know seeing this, all these racial comments that I make.
Right.
All right, cool. We should wrap it up.
Okay.
Penny came up into my lap. You know what that means. Time to wrap it up. Somebody's got to give me a snack, or I'm going to poop in your lap.
Probably.
All right. Hey, you know, if you want to say hi to us, you can do that on Twitter.
The Twitters?
The Twitters, as I like to call it. Don't call it that, though, because that's just what I use. The Twitters, which is, of course, on the internets. You can find me. I'm at Erfon, E-R-F-O-N. And if I wanted to find out about you...
Yeah. That's all you got to plug?
That's all I got, dude.
Okay.
Wait. Yeah, that's all I got. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, let's go. So, I am on Twitter as well. You can find me. It's just at Roberto Hoyos, RobertoHoyos. And I'm doing a Kickstarter, everybody.
Yes.
I have 7 more days to reach funding.
So close.
At 12,500, I need 20,000. It's totally still doable. One of the ways that I was just doing the quick math, I could do it if we got 70 backers for an ICEO each, you know? And so there's a lot of ways that you can contribute, and there's a lot of great, what do they call it, backer rewards.
Yeah.
The new pillows.
Bourgeoisie.
And, of course, if you've ever wanted an ICEO, this is the last time to do that.
Penny wants to own ICEO. Look how close she's getting to it.
So... Yes, everybody.
And the ICEOs, I mean, I wish that people could hold one because they're really amazing. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be gone. They're going to be gone, people.
Yeah, and it's like one of those
dress
things.
yours up. What?
I was just going to say, yeah, it's one of those things like I just want to make sure people know like this is the last time the ICEOs.
This is really the last time.
I'm not going to make them in the future. You can't ask me, 10 months down the line, are we going to have them? It's like, no.
You could ask, but the answer is going to be a big fat no.
And really, it's just, if you like Throwboy and you're watching this, maybe you like Throwboy, this would really help me out. I'm really trying to take the business to the next level. And, this could be something we look back on like, hey, I got to back him back when it was just like one dude. And now
it's like
thing,
the modern day Jelly Belly.
Yeah. So any contribution would help. And like I said, 7 days left, probably 6 when you watch this. And you can go to Kickstarter and search Throwboy.
Or just go to throwboy.com/Kickstarter.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I've been telling people because it's just so much easier to remember.
Awesome.
And you can watch these videos on YouTube if you would like to do so and not download them. That's just youtube.com/user-friendly show. Mm-hmm. And, if you're watching this through Blip, I know they feature us sometimes, you can subscribe on iTunes. And, we got to start reading iTunes reviews again. We haven't done that in a little while.
Yeah.
Just head over to iTunes and search for User Friendly Show. The show is now available in audio and video.
Mm-hmm.
So you
For
can listen
Mac
to us
and
for Mac
PC.
and PC. And you know, I was just thinking is how riveting this entertainment is going to be for all of our audio listeners this show, who are not listening to this now because they probably tuned out. We're sitting here playing with Google Hangouts.
Yeah, or a long time ago.
Or a long time ago.
Yeah, and so I think that's about it.
I think that's it.
YouTube.com/user-friendly show.
Yep, that's true. And FaceTime.com /
Too many URLs. That's all you gotta remember. Okay, so I think that's it, man. So
Okay, so until the next hangout, we hope you have a plus week.
poke.